I put them on ships because the wolves weren't where our island was, so I had to...
They don't go on ships, do they?
Oh, yeah, you can push them on ships. But if they see...
It is, Scott, if I'm honest with you. It's fan service. It's fan service. I'm good with it. Serve me right up. You know what I mean? I'll take anime and esports straight out the box.
We wanted to talk about every year, once we last a year, God willing, we last a full year, we'll do a nice end of the year wrap up next year, our favorite game, our favorite esport event, like our own little awards maybe. Jason and I've always wanted to do our own little fuck off awards like everybody else does. But we wanted to at least do...
Where we win everything, right?
Where we nominate each other,
That's right.
vote each other in, give each other the awards. I might even give you a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Awards for the boys. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
award
take
for the
that,
boys.
yeah.
But so we wanted to do Game of the Year, right?
Yes.
So Jason asked me, Scott, what's your Game of the Year? Let's talk about it. So
I mean, this has got to be at least as legitimate as Jeff Keighley deciding, right?
At least.
Right, that's what I
if
thought.
not more. Well, actually more legit because no one has paid me for my opinion.
Ah, okay.
Maybe
true.
you know. Maybe someone's paid you because you do some work on the side.
I am
this
getting
developer.
paid for this, to be fair. But
so
for my opinion,
unbiased.
You'll see. I mean, you'll see.
Unfiltered.
I'm not biased when I give my opinion.
Unpaid
but
for.
we'll
Small
wait for
indie
that.
dev.
You go first.
I'm going to go first. My Game of the Year, I played a boatload of this game. Not an esport game whatsoever.
A long boatload?
A long boatload. Valheim. Valheim, made by truly a little indie game dev.
Indie dev.
Really, really cool, fun game. Really well put together. Multiplayer, can play with your mates. You play as a Viking in Valheim in the middle of the afterworld world, if you will.
Yeah, you're in Midgard, right?
Yeah, you're in Midgard trying to ascend. You have to kill all these bosses. But it's a survival / builder / so you go as slow as you want. When Jason and I in the gang play these kind of games, I end up being kind of the guy at home and building and storing and
House
crafting
husband.
and all that shit. Yeah, and I just fucking love it. Like, because again, it's all old Viking
I love
shit. And
any game with a Robinson Crusoe premise, like obviously washing up somewhere, having to fucking build from nothing, gets me every time. So I feel
just
that, yeah.
fucking love it.
Yeah.
And so I don't even. I was gonna look at my Steam hours this morning so I could bring it up, but I didn't. And I just played the fuck out of this game. They all stopped playing it. I kept playing it.
Is that good solo?
Yeah, I had because again, we would take turns is the wrong word. Like Jason would jump on and we'd go after a boss or something.
Yeah.
But if Jason wasn't jumping on, I would just go gather shit and work on the homestead and work on the new crafting area, or work on the storage systems, or fuck around with the protector walls and shit. So yeah, you totally can do it solo, and it scales, right? So if you go take a boss on by yourself, it's easier than if you and your 3 mates take on the same boss.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fucking unforgiving though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you do a lot of corpse runs, but again, the corpse runs, you lose a little bit of your experience. You run, you grab all your dead shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting concept here is that you can obviously level up certain things by doing them. Jumping, running, fighting, cook, whatever, right? You lose experience when you die, which is obviously more than just losing your items or inventory or whatever. Look, great pick, Scott. I fucking love this game. It's like Minecraft with a little bit more of a, I don't know. It feels like a real survival game. I play it with Brent and Josh and
cool.
Jack and Avast.
That's great. Great with the crew.
It is legit a sick game to play with the homies, and it creates some incredible moments. Like we had Josh tamed a lox.
Yes.
And we built a moat of locks. So basically, none of the Grey Dwarfs could get to our base, right?
Yep.
I didn't do this. Josh spent hours fucking taming these guys and bring them in there. And I just fucked with him by just leading them out on a great exodus. And then one of the Loxers destroyed the bridge across the moat and just all hell broke loose. It's one of those games like Sea of Thieves where the destination isn't actually what's so important. It's the journey. It's the shit you get yourself into on the way there that makes for great memories, great moments, great content. So bravo, fantastic game. And what they've done really well is take the survival genre and make it collaborative in a big way. And also think they get rid of some of those woes, like the teleporter system is really handy.
Yeah.
It doesn't break the game. You have to fucking go there first. And they don't, and the clues they give you about the bosses in each biome, it's not finished yet, by the way. You'll still find in the current build, there are biomes that are unpopulated, like Mistlands, that just doesn't have anything there. So
I can't wait.
Still more to come. I'm terrible at the fucking game, though, I'll be honest with you, but it's a lot of fun.
We're probably going to fire up another server because we haven't played the Hearth and Home update that you've played where you can ride Loxes and tame Loxes.
Okay, gotcha.
We stopped before
a bit
that.
buggy at times still.
Yeah. But they added a lot of building shit, a lot of new stuff for the houses, and I just love that. And what I like about these kind of games. So I think if a game makes you just laugh your fucking ass off and giggle, and then 10 minutes later you're like, fuck me, I don't want to play anymore. I'm really sad. Like, to your thing about the locks is I spent 2 days building and taming a wolf pack, right? Because you could tame wolves, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I
They get in the way.
I
Yeah.
wanted a fucking wolf pack. I put them on ships because the wolves weren't where our island was, so I had to...
They don't go on ships, do they?
No, yeah, you can push them on ships. But if they see fucking serpents, they jump off the boat and swim to
We
the
had
serpents.
that problem because we took 3 wolves on the boat, and Josh was like really precious about them, and Bren
Yeah,
wanted
you
to
gotta-
move the
you-
wolves.
you gotta, like, fucking-
And at one point, the wolves, I think they got ejected from the boat because we hit.
Yeah, it's buggy as
we
fuck.
hit like a outcropping, and the wolves went
Yeah.
into the water. And you know what? The game wouldn't be as fun if I wasn't streaming it as well.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So-
it would not have been sharing that ridiculousness was a huge
funny.
part of it.
But my agony defeat was, so I'm bringing these wolves home. I autumn almost got them home. 4 of them
Like
home.
Moses, yeah?
Yeah,
Just-
and I can see my dock, right? And then I see a troll over in the woods. He fucking does his thing.
Mm-hmm.
They literally leap off the boat, and I'm at the shore, so they're not.
So they aggroed the troll.
They aggroed the troll, ran to him, and he killed them all before I could even swim and help them.
I'm surprised they didn't drown.
So 2 days work gone. I was like, literally, I quit.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
almost uninstalled. I'm like, fuck. But then, sure enough, 2 hours later, I'm back at my wolf pen, going, all right, let's do this again. I just fucking love it. Love it. And it's made by Coffee Stain. They're the publisher. They also publish Satisfactory. If you're familiar with that game. Very similar, different dev teams, different companies building these games, but very similar, quirky, fun, overarching
It really
vibes
hits
to
the
both games.
OCD market well. Like us that like to build. And
Oh,
like,
Satisfactory.
Right.
love
So
that
I
game
haven't played
too.
Satisfactory. I played a lot of Factorio. I watched Overwatch coach player Jake stream a bunch of Satisfactory, and I just
love
found
it.
it very satisfying to sit there and watch it. Someone who's like has a fairly systematic approach, like that was quite cathartic for me. So
Yeah.
great
Good.
game.
Let's get into yours.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So my game
What's
of
your
the year.
exciting new game that no one's ever heard of?
Well, from acclaimed game developer Blizzard Entertainment. No, my game of the year actually, believe it or not, is Valorant. As someone who was really aching for a compelling esports shooter title this year, I mean, I couldn't have waited all the way until Halo came out. Valorant really scratched the itch for me. I'm still fucking dog shit at this game. I am trash. I played Counter-Strike, was trash at that. I'm not good at attack shooters. Overwatch gave me too many bad habits. I'm bouncing around and spamming and just in the voice chat the whole time. That's me. But look, this game out of the box, esports scene real quickly, compelling competition, compelling storylines. The gameplay is good. It's repeatable. It's punishing, and I'm sick of fucking having Zoomers in my games make fun of my accent. So there's definitely a bit to be desired here, and also like the exorbitant prices for the skins that I invariably buy anyway because I have disposable income. Thanks, by the way. Yeah, he's funding my skin
anytime.
collection.
You're most welcome.
The game itself really good. The community that sprung up around it, stellar. I've made a lot of friends just from being involved in Valorant, which is great. Guys like Van Sealy, obviously being on Valoranting, Valley, DDK, obviously a close friend of mine now after we really sort of connected, sort of talking about casting and thinking about Valorant. We have a global competition. We had LAN play between these teams. We had pseudo-LAN play a little bit, but then obviously a proper LAN. We had NA versus EU rivalry. We had underdogs from Southeast Asia. The CIS region producing incredible teams. NA ultimately disappointing us as they always manage to do at global competitions. This, without Valorant esports, this year would have been, and I'm including the Overwatch League, this year would have been a fucking esports wasteland for me. Great job, right? Great game. Even if I criticize your tournament organizing, your league ops people, it's what I do. I'm a fucking pundit in my spare time, as you can see, but the game is great. Regardless if I fucking suck at it, viewership's been really good. Passionate people in the community that I've really enjoyed partnering with and helping try to build something, even if it's in my own little way. This shit's fire, man. And, I don't even work on this game. Like, I don't even have a vested interest in pumping people's tires up about the game, but this year really needed a new compelling esports title with its own storylines, and we got one. Barga, we got one!
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to say they nailed it, right? Yeah. And far from perfect. And again, this is not about Riot as a company, like the story we just talked about. Obviously, issues with all these big companies. I never cared about Riot before because I didn't care about League of Legends, right? They were a one-trick game dev. They had one game, not my game flavor. I don't like MOBAs in general, so it wasn't against League. It wasn't like I was a Dota guy. So I never paid them much mind. I just knew they ran this most popular game on the planet. It was League of Legends. I knew about all the drama they'd done over the years, franchise leagues and all that.
Yep.
But when they dropped that beta, I was like, holy fuck, what is this? And we knew they were making more games. That was already coming our way. When there's more even coming, fighting game, etc. So, like, obviously, we jumped all over it. I hosted the very first Valorant show, right at the pandemic. We were like, fuck.
And Mr. Rex on Valorant, for Christ's sake. You guys really scrambled the fucking jets to cover that.
Yeah, it was the dark days. And again, not necessarily my shooter type. I played it.
Sure.
Again, sucked at it. It's one of those games you got to play a lot and keep playing a lot and stay on it.
Yeah, if you stop playing for a week, you fucking doggy doo doo.
Yeah, so I didn't really get into it past the first couple shows. I was like, but let's keep doing this show. We as a company obviously believe it's got legs as an esport. I think what they did, aside from the game being a solid game, I think the plan they laid for esports and how quickly they were able to ramp up and achieve a full circuit, get all the big teams involved, add this whole women's circuit as well, like all this year, that alone adds to this game of the year thing, I think, other than it being a solid fucking shooter, right? Like they really nailed it in a lot of fucking ways. These events, just... Like, you got to give him credit.
And I had to sit there and watch Waylon Roselle's shit-eating grin at the fucking Esports Awards in Arlington when he went up and collected that Game of the Year award, and I fucking knew they deserved it. So, fair play, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, as we head towards what we have dubbed a potential franchise era in the coming years, it remains to be seen whether these steps continue to be taken in the same sort of way, especially because we've already speculated about how the whole co-streaming situation might work, and if there's a rug to be pulled out there in the future based on how they're dealing with League of Legends, or if this is just a test bed for like a future approach to co-streaming. But for what we have in front of us now is a year of global circuits that fed into a number of quote-unquote LANs, top-level competitions, and a culmination of champions.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone realistically could ask for much more than that, and I have asked for much more because I'm not realistic. But obviously, as we've been critical of the steps they've taken and the processes they've applied to get here, I'm still very pleased, yeah. So, I mean, this is coming from a literal Overwatch League commentator. I am still an Overwatch League commentator. They're doing it really right now, and I mean, I woe betide any fucking dev or tournament organizer that isn't ready to pull their finger out when we get back to a LAN environment, or you're going to continue to get shit on by Riot Games. It's as simple as that.
I wonder if we're also seeing just a general shift. We've been, all of us have been saying for years, fuck these game devs. They really should support the esports side of their game from the get-go. They really should stop thinking of it as an afterthought and just letting TOs and everybody do their own thing. We saw what Riot just did with their IP. We see them dabbling with their other new IPs, right? And shows are developing on TF. All of that stuff's happening. And then you just saw what Halo did, with how they also very similar.
I mean, theirs is like the sea monkeys of esports. You want to talk about just to add water?
Yep.
That's what we saw from
But again,
them.
instant top teams, instant engagement, and again, maybe the light bulb in all those marketing departments and all these game devs finally went off a little more. Like, you know what? It's an esport game we're building. Why don't we think about this from the start?
I mean, they have to. Especially with the people they have on the inside now over there at 343, like guys like Lennox and stuff like that. You can't tell me that this wasn't.
They are esports.
Right. You want to ask, who's esports. I mean, these guys probably had a real mind to sort of craft that vision for the game. And despite that, I'm still impressed with how quickly they were able to activate on that. Obviously, nostalgia sells, right? It fills seats. Going back to Rally, going back to like an MLG style format, it's a great way to do it. Eventually, Halo Esports will have to innovate. I trust in their ability to do so, and I don't expect that from them straight off the bat. There's nothing wrong with throwing back to a golden era of esports, but to create a new one, you're probably going to have to take a new multidisciplinary approach. But again, they're figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest for just a sec, right? Esports is a fucking marketing expenditure, right? You are marketing the game. It is not self-sustaining in itself. Do you really think that Esports Engine or Halo, whoever made money on that rally event? Fuck no. It's the equivalent of bands touring to sort of, drive, in the past, to drive album sales. Nowadays, they tour to make money because you can pirate their fucking music and Spotify and all that exists. But, esports, we're not great at making it a revenue-generating engine in and of itself, right? It is an expenditure to drive revenue in the game and to drive microtransactions and stuff like that. So that's why not every scene fucking gets an esport. Yeah. That's why not every developer has esports at the forefront of their mind when they produce a game. It is, Scott, if I'm honest with you, It's fan service. It's fan service. I'm fucking good with it. Serve me right up. You know what I mean? I'll take anime titties and esports straight out of the box. That's my kind of fan service.
Take note. Take note, folks. Anime,
Titties.
titties.
So yeah, good job, good job. Anyway,
Yeah.
Can we go to a break? I'm getting a fucking sore throat.
Yes, we've role reversed. I was yelling and screaming last week. You're yelling and screaming. It's a good yin and yang.